Are you ready, kids? Aye, aye, Captain! I can't hear you! Aye, aye, Captain!
Hi everyone. Today we shall talk about poetry and how to break it down and different features of poetry. So this is what we are actually learning about this week if you're watching the video. We are looking through The Road Not Taken and The Road. First off, before you read any poem, you have to look at who wrote it, because unless it's a funny Halloween poem or a silly little kid poem, you're not gonna. The poet is very important for you to know where they're coming from and why they wrote the poem. So if we look here at The Road Not Taken, this poem was written by Robert Frost. Remember that name because it's going to come up a lot in your higher level education. So Robert Frost, he was born in 1874 through 1963. He was an American poet who often wrote about nature and rural life. I can't really say that word. So if you think about his background, he normally writes about nature and rural life. So keep that in mind as we read the poem. That's one thing that's important to look for. The other thing that's important to look for is the title of the poem. Let me get my note here. So the title of the poem is important because it kind of gives you the main idea of what this whole poem is going to be about. So The Road Not Taken. So we already know visually, because poetry is very visual, that he's going to be talking about a road. We don't know that it's literally a road that we're going to go take a drive on and have a road trip with. But we know it's about a road that wasn't taken, okay? So that gives it away. The next thing you need to do before you read a poem is to break it down by stanzas and lines. So you need to acknowledge how many stanzas there are, how many lines there are. What's a stanza? Good question. A stanza is pretty much, when you think of an essay, you have paragraphs, right? Or when you're reading an article, there's paragraphs. In poetry, you have stanzas, so they're little chunks of lines, and I'll go into lines right now. But anytime you see a gap, so right here there's a big gap between the first stanza and the second stanza. That means this is just one stanza right here, and we'll call it stanza 1. This right here is another stanza, so we'll call it stanza 2. This here is another stanza, so we'll call it stanza 3. And here is another stanza, and we call it stanza 4. Sorry, Robert Frost, I just wrote on your face. So, and we're not going to continue this one because this is a whole other poem. So don't even pay attention to this. Pay attention to this. Okay. So there's 4 stanzas in this poem called "The Road Not Taken." Let me make this bigger. Hold on. There you go. The next thing you have to look at is when you're breaking down a poem, and this is important for when we make you cite poetry, is lines. So in every stanza there are lines. We don't call them sentences because in poetry we don't have like necessarily always complete sentences. We have lines. So this right here is line, oops, it's too thick. This right here is line 1, line 2, line 3, line 4, line 5. And Benchmark labeled the lines right here. So they started with 1. And here's line 5. So we know that these numbers that Benchmark put are the number of lines. So this is line 20. And you can go in, and I usually have you guys, before you start reading, label the lines. So what I want you guys to do in your books is label the stanzas. Do it now. Waiting. Okay. Yeah, hopefully you put pause because it takes longer. Alright, now you label the lines. Here's line 1, line 2, line 3, line 4, line 5. Then you can continue going. 6, line 7, line 8, line 9, line 10, line 11, line 12, line 13, line 14, line 15, line 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. So there's 20 lines in this poem, and there's 4 stanzas in this poem. That's how you start to break it down, all right? The next thing I want to show you guys is how to annotate, because it's not the same as annotating informational text or literature like we've been doing in the past couple weeks. So I am going to exit this out, and because I want to use the features on Benchmark to annotate. And if you need this again, rewind the video. That's all you gotta do. Isn't it great? Okay, so I'm gonna exit this out. It's gonna erase my lines and my stanzas. Ready, set, go. There it is. Okay, so now I want to practice with you guys how to annotate a stanza. In poetry, you do want to annotate every stanza because every stanza has a different like meaning behind it. Sometimes from one stanza to another, it'll change the character's point of view. So it's very important that you do chunk it, not like don't combine the two stanzas, actually chunk it and annotate. So what I'm gonna do with you guys, and we did this in class too, is just annotate the first stanza. So if you were absent, you're lucky you have this video. If you were in class, you're lucky you have this video to go over it again, okay? So before we annotate, one thing you do need to know about poetry is that, who watches SpongeBob? Oh, you do, okay, yes. So SpongeBob, remember the episode where he's like, with Squidward, they have a giant box and they're like playing using their imagination, and Squidward gets really angry because he can't see what they're seeing, but he could hear all the fun they're having? Okay, so kind of like that, SpongeBob has a big imagination. So we're gonna use our imagination to understand what this means. Poetry is very visual. The words they use are very descriptive, meaning they describe visually how things look for you to understand it. So let's be like SpongeBob, get into SpongeBob mode. Alright, everyone in SpongeBob mode? Alright, good. Let's start. So, stanza 1. I'm going to use their tools here. Alright, I'm going to use highlighter. And I'm going to annotate. 2 roads diverged in a yellow wood. Okay, so right away, I'm even going to break it down further line for line, because if you don't do it line for line, you're going to lose some of the meaning. So, 2 roads diverged in a yellow wood. What do you see? Everyone close your eyes, be SpongeBob. When I say the words, 2 roads diverged in a yellow wood, what do you picture? I'm going to pull a Dora the Explorer and I'm going to ask you even though I can't hear you. What do you picture?
Go, Diego, go!
Wow, okay, so, wow, that was good, little Johnny. Alright, I like what little Johnny said. He said, diverge means when they split up, like Mrs. Cortez showed us with her hands. Thank you. That was awesome. So look, 2 roads diverged. So my, oops, I hate when it does this. 2 roads diverged. The fact that it says 2 kind of gives me the hint. And guys, if you don't know what a word means, are you supposed to panic and go sit down in a corner and start rocking back and forth because you don't know what the word means? In this era of technology that we didn't have growing up, that you do, what should you do if you don't know what a word means? Look it up in the dictionary. Yes! Thank you, Frank. Frank is correct. You look it up.
The computer!
Oh, the computer! Oh my gosh, little Debbie, thank you. Look, I'm gonna go to Google real quick and I'm gonna show you self-study skills that you need. Alright? Look, I can literally Google what does diverge mean? Literally on Google it'll tell me. Or I can go to dictionary on Google search. But bam bam. And look at that. And I just put in the word that I don't know what the word means. So diverged. And bada bing, bada boom, there it is. diverge, to move, lie, extend in different directions, just like I showed you. Okay? So if you don't know what it means, look it up. Okay, let me go back now. So, thank you, Frank, for that. That was amazing. All right, now our other student had said that they imagined two roads splitting up in a yellow wood. So they pictured a yellow wood. When do you think there's yellow woods? Can you go to the forest any time of the year and it will be all yellow? Usually, what time of the year do trees start turning yellow? Or the leaves? Fall. Oh, yes! Yes, Johnny. Yes, in the fall. So right now, the image you should have in your head is a person standing, looking ahead, and there's two roads that split up. Okay? And then they're yellow because this is the fall weather. Think about how fall usually makes you feel. With poetry, it's all about feelings and picturing stuff. So think of the fall weather, and not Bakersfield fall when it's still 100 degrees. I mean like fall when it's starting to get cold a little bit, and yeah, the temperature drops. So that's what I have pictured. Now let's go to the next line. And sorry, I could not travel both. So that was pretty self-explanatory. The person standing in the middle of between the two roads that split, and he's sorry for not being able to go both ways, right? He can't travel two roads at the same time. He's gotta go back and pick a road, pick a side, the right or the left. That's what he has to do, okay? Let's continue on. And be one traveler, long I stood. Long I stood. All right, what did you guys picture when you saw the words long I stood? What are you picturing? It's pretty self-explanatory. Yes, Jimmy, yes. The person standing there not knowing where to, like which way to go. They're standing there waiting for a long time, trying to decide for a long time. Should I go that way or should I go that way? I'm not sure. So long I stood is what that means, okay? And looked down, oops, excuse me. And looked down one as far as I could. What do you picture there? And I looked down one as far as I could. So use your imagination, SpongeBob mode. What are you picturing right now? When it says, and looked down one as far as I could. Yes, so, I know you guys are answering, thank you. So, yeah, the person is standing right here. You guys could stand up with me on the video and pretend you're looking too. So the person's standing, he's looking down, and he's trying to see as far as he could to see if he should go that way or if he should go that way. Okay, so he's just standing there looking to see how far the road goes and what's on the road. So that's what he's doing right now. Okay, to where it bent in the undergrowth. So the road usually, like, sometimes roads bend this way or bend that way or bend up or down. I feel like Dr. Seuss right now with the road stuff. But yeah, sometimes they bend. So after the road bends and goes a different direction, sometimes it's hard for you to see what's in the other direction, right? So that's what the traveler's doing here. So he's looking as far as he could to where it bends in the undergrowth. Undergrowth is like, what is undergrowth? What do I do if I don't know what it means? Am I gonna start rocking in my corner right now? And I don't know what the undergrowth means? No? Okay, sorry. Sorry. Okay, I was supposed to go to Google dictionary, undergrowth. It's pretty much like plants that haven't really grown they're still kind of there. So yeah, that's how you analyze it. So now when I summarize stanza 1, I'm gonna go here. And sorry, I was messing around with my typing. Oops. Okay, there it is. So I'm gonna label this, and you're gonna do this in your book. Stanza 1. Uno. And then bam, bam. And now you could kind of see, you could summarize this. Now that we pictured it, put all the pictures that we put in our heads in writing. So we're gonna put there were 2 roads. Hold on. Let's bring out the fun. Alright, there you go. Alright, there were 2 roads. I'm not gonna fall. Oops. I wrote with my hair. Okay, there were 2 roads. There were 2 roads in the fall. How do I know it's the fall again? The yellow wood. Alright? So there were 2 roads in the fall. The narrator was looking down both roads to see which one he would take. The narrator looked over the roads, the narrator looked over the roads, the narrator looked over the roads to see where he should go. That's what he did, okay? So, so now that's pretty much, that's me summarizing stanza 1. And you're gonna do the same thing for the rest of them. I put, there were 2 roads in the fall. The narrator was looking down both roads to see which one he should take. It sums it up. So you're gonna do the same thing for the other stanzas on your own. And you're gonna do exactly what I did. You're gonna be SpongeBob mode, imagination, and you're gonna try to picture everything the author throws at you. And if there's a word you don't know, you're not gonna sit in a corner and start rocking back and forth. You're gonna go to google.com and you're gonna type in, what does this word mean? Or literally go to dictionary.com and it should type in the word you don't know and it should describe it for you, okay? And you're gonna do that for every stanza. Okay, guys? All right. I think I summed everything up. Remember, recap. Stanzas, stanza, 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 stanza. Line. You get it, right? Okay, yes. All right. If you are confused right now, rewind the video and watch it and pause it and watch it and pause it and listen to your teacher when they're on Zoom because they're doing their best and it's your grade, so do it. Yay. All right, guys. Peace. Bye-bye. Yay. Yay.
Best teacher ever!